Carter and I are going to kind of joint teach today. I'm going to kick us off here with the do now. We give honor students some time to finish their assessment, their peer assessment. I'm going to pass the torch to Carter. I think you have good ideas of these concepts. Mr. Carter is going to take over.
So we're going to move into your social studies circles. Don't take it out yet. Let me finish talking, and then we're gonna go straight into the circles. So we were given this on Wednesday, right? So we had this on Wednesday, and we needed to go home, read the chapter, pick a person to be whoever it's going to be. I want to remind you that your summarizer is the person who talks first in your group. We're going to give you 10 minutes to talk to each other. And then after those 10 minutes, we're going to fill in the bullet points on the board. I will start handing markers out to random people. I will be walking around and checking out how you're doing. Remember to use these words that Mr. Dice has so lovely laminated. We have such as, for example, therefore, because, and in support of. Make sure you try to put those in your answers we put on the board, okay? And vocab words. In the do now, we had imperialism, social Darwinism, Berlin Conference. There's also racism. There's a few other ones in the chapter. Make sure you look through those. Okay, 10 minutes from right now. Everybody talk, come up with the answers for the board.
They were all like enslaved people. And they said,
About another 30 seconds or so.
they said
Wrap up
that
the
slaves are
conversation.
subhumans. That's why they don't go into the Christianity.
Yeah, that's so
Make sure you have an answer for everything.
And then the Americans made all men are equal preamble, right? And then they said that Africans are subhumans, so they're not equal to other people. That's like kind of basically that's obviously racist. That is racist. But like the pattern they the survival of the fittest. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, let's wrap it up. Everybody, eyes up here real quick. Now, I'm just going to pick at random. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2, yeah, not exactly 2 from each group, but, oh no, it is 2 from each group. My math is off. Yes, 2 from each group. We're going to, I'll give you a chance to do which one you would like to do, okay, just like Mr. Dice does. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, Isha, Alyssa, stand up for me. Josh and Alice, stand up for me. Thursday, Joey, and So, raise your hand if you'd like to go first for me. Nice pick. Which one would you like to do? No, sorry, I said it wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and write it down on stage sheets for me, okay?
Overall, how did imperialism change Africa?
Overall, how did Africa. Okay. You can go ahead and sit down. Come on.
Connection.
Connection, yeah. Go ahead.
Workers in factories and slaves during the African and triangular trade were similar because they were treated harshly.
Workers in factories one more time.
And the slaves from the African slave trade.
From the slave trade.
Yeah.
Very good, Connie. Sit down.
Triangular.
Slaves, factories were treated the same. I like that. Let me come back to you for an explanation. Justin, yeah. Yes, sorry, John.
European countries wanting to spread.
Well, which one? Which one?
Oh, sorry, a connection.
Connection, yeah.
European countries wanting to spread its advancements to the less privileged is like how Napoleon wanted to spread the Napoleonic.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna say spread imperialism. Imperialism to Africa. Same as on. Okay. Yeah, picked you guys, right?
Passage.
Passage. Okay, go for it.
Passage.
Well, give me the page number.
Page 774.
774. Okay.
Paragraph 5.
Paragraph 5.
And it talks about how national pride was one of the motivations to start Europeans to start colonizing Africa.
Who was? You said it talks about who?
Talks about Europeans.
Just in the book says this. What's the exact quote? Give me a sentence of the first quote. Okay, hold on to that. We'll come back. Alice, please. Which one?
Question.
Christian, go for it.
Why did Boers fight with British?
Why did the Boers fight with the British? Okay, very good. You can sit down. Good question. Okay, Joey.
Connection.
All right. Actually, Joey, can you give me a passage? Give me a passage. I don't want them both giving me a passage. So can you give me a passage? I'll come back to you. Dustin, can you finish up what you were doing?
Yeah,
National. Where do I start? Give me the first sentence of the example.
It's a competition for colonies by each member and its flag on as much of
Intensified. We are just gonna stop right there. Okay. Get sit down, Joey. Did you get that passage for me?
Page 774, paragraph 8.
One more time.
Page 700.
700?
Wait. Is it the same one?
No,
700, that's a different place.
Paragraph.
Different place.
Paragraph 3. Page
There we go.
774.
774. Okay. Go for it, Joey.
Paragraph 3.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Did I read it?
Just give me the first part of it, and we'll come back to it.
Leopold claimed that his primary motive in establishing the colony was to abolish the slave trade and promote Christianity.
claimed his primary. Motivation. Okay, and we'll go back to that one as well. Ishan,
Connection. Like European settlers, like the Africans, were like inferior in like by like the survival of the feather strategy. So like I connected that to the how when Spanish came to America, they brought like slaves and even though like then Christianity did not allow them to like enslave anyone. They made the excuse that they're subhumans, and that's what happened when Americans made the Declaration of Independence and kept slavery on.
I'm gonna just keep it there. We're gonna come back to you. Okay, so you can sit down. Yes, question.
If Leopold,
Leopold.
if he had been benefiting from using slaves, why did he want to abolish the slave trade?
Okay. You benefited from, what was the rest of it?
If he benefited from using slaves,
Using slave? Well, why, what?
he was getting cheated.
Yeah, the rest of the
I'm
question.
sorry, benefiting the use of slaves, why do you want to abolish the slave trade?
Why? Okay, so let's look at these individually. We're going to go connections first, passages next. I'm sorry, yeah, connections, passages, and we'll go back to questions. So the first one was workers in the factories and slaves were treated the same. Treated the same. Who put that one on for me? You said they're treated the same. Workers in which factories?
Workers in factories, during the industrial revolution.
Workers in Europe? So workers in the European factories, maybe, add that to it. So workers in the European factories, I'm going to switch colors now. So workers in European factories, yeah. So that makes it make a little bit more sense. But yes, you're right. I mean, the conditions were definitely slanted more towards the factory workers than the slaves. You could still go home to your family at night as a European factory worker, but not so much as in the slave trade. A little bit different there. Next one, European countries spread imperialism to Africa as Napoleon did. Who said this one for me? Yeah, Napoleon did. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, Napoleon spread his, but he didn't spread it in Africa. Where did he spread it to?
Europe.
Yeah, Europe, and into parts of Russia as well. Well, he tried anyway. Spanish American. Okay, so I think I was with you, Ishan. You had a couple of points in there. Let's just put it down to one, right? So you said Spanish American and the slave trade, right?
They were all, even though they all made other races as inferior, even though like they're and made it an excuse to justify.
Right, so they had a different form of imperialism, is what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the different situations of Spanish and the American, and to some degree the English with the indenture servants as well. Okay, passages. My first passage. Who said my first passage? Listen, yes. You said as the. I can't even read my own writing. How'd it go one more time?
As the competition for colonies intensified, each country was determined to have its forever as much of the world as possible.
Like a pretty concise passage as far as this chapter goes. They absolutely were. the fighting that went on in Africa during this time was quite a bit, especially during the tribes and the Europeans. And I can't remember which tribe. It says in northern Africa, the Saharan tribes. It was talking about how they weren't even able to stop them until about this time. So I mean, for quite a long amount of time. Next part, this is page 77. This was Joey, right? I threw you on the spot, Joey. I apologize. He said Leopold claimed his primary motivation was.
Can I read it from where I from?
Yeah, go ahead. Nice and loud, Joey.
In 1908, the Belgian government took control of the colony from Britain. The Belgian Congo, as the colony later became known, was 80 times larger than Belgium. The Belgian government seizure of the Congo alarmed France. Earlier in 1882, the French had approved a treaty that gave France the north bank of the Congo River.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. So, this came up also in the questions, asking about why Leopold did what he did. And it is a great question, and it is a good passage talking about how he got control and why he decided that he was going to abolish slavery, and that's not at all what he did. Not at all what he did. And in fact, the government had to take control away from him later, if you read into the chapter. Questions? Overall, how did imperialism change Africa? Question mark there. That's my fault. Overall, how did imperialism change Africa? Who's got a good comment on this? Who thinks they know how it changed it? Because that's kind of the whole chapter, isn't it? How did it change Africa, for the good or for the bad? Well, let's just say that if you look at Africa now and how split up the cultures are, it's pretty similar to the Middle East in a lot of ways because of how the connection between all these different cultures were split up by imperialism. And that's what this chapter is trying to show you, is that they were split up not by the cultural divides as you would be normally, but they were split up by another country. In fact, a bunch of other countries because of the Berlin Conference. Next question, why did the warriors fight with the British? Does anybody have a good answer to this? Why did they fight with the British? No? Okay. Put somebody on the spot. I feel like we should. Yeah. Why did they fight with them?
Because in South Africa, there was
Just a little bit louder, could you?
because in South Africa, they had a lot of gold and resources.
Yeah, resources, right? So the warriors were there first, and they were actually mean farmer, and they were farming, doing all the different things that they were doing. The Dutch were there because they were they had a connection between their trade routes, and it was the easiest way to get back and forth from the Dutch Indies back to where they were coming, Netherlands. And so they needed a place to stop over, and so a bunch of them decided to start farming. Well, they found out later that this land that you're on not only has a good farming, but we have diamonds, gold. So everybody wants that, right? So the warriors who've been there forever, and then not to mention the indigenous people who had been there forever, had a pretty big problem with this. So, as you can read at the end of the chapter, and you should if you haven't, is they decided, no, well, we're not going to put up with this, we're going to fight. There's a really good quote from Winston Churchill in there as well, because he was there during the fighting. Last question. If Leopold had been benefiting from slavery, why did he want to abolish it? Why did he want to abolish it? Why do you think, Josh?
He didn't want to abolish it.
No, I don't think so either. I don't really have a good explanation as to why he did what he did. I can't tell you that. It doesn't seem that way, does it? This next.
Yeah, oh, okay. Before you go real quick, guys,